to you today from the Southern Legend Outdoor Studio, the Be a Legend podcast, brought to you from SouthernLegendOutdoors.com. And now your hosts, Kevin Barefield, Kerry Nelson, Ken Butler, and Mark Newell. Heroes get remembered, but legends never die. It's your time now. Be a legend.
Mark, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Since the new law, no feeders, turkey this time, what would you do? What would you tell, I guess, our listeners and us? What's the best way to prepare your property? We're not talking about checking your gear and stuff. I'm talking about food-wise, or what do you do to prepare some of your property to draw turkeys? If we can't feed, we can't set that feeder out.
No supplemental feeding.
No supplemental feed. So what's something we can do? I know we got food plots that are going to brighten back up with the warmer weather and things, but what can we do?
Well, one of the things you can do, and it needs to be done during that time anyway, especially if you have perennials, clover, chicory, alfalfa, whatever. Not a lot of alfalfa here, but in some areas they do alfalfa, is just to fertilize. Now's the time to fertilize. Fertilize, I mean, you being a farmer, you know, you were just talking about fertilizing in April, so you're not that far from it. So it's the same thing with your food plots, giving them a shot in the arm. Anytime those plants are healthier, the insects like those plants more. So if it's going to attract the insects, guess where the turkeys are going to be? Eating the insects. But it's also going to make those plants better for your deer and you know, for the protein value in that as well. But so fertilizing is a big thing that you can do, and use like a low to no nitrogen type fertilizer. 0-20-20, 8-24-24, anything like that with the low but real high with the P and K. P and K is that's the longevity part of the plant, and that's what it gives them. You know, nitrogen's giving them, shot them in the arm, make them green up, make them jump. But your P and K is in the longevity part of it, and that's part of that plant physiology part there. But also, Ken, something that I do quite a bit, if it's dry enough, I'll take my tractor and disc down the edge of roads. And what that does, it just roots up all kinds of other bugs, little nut sedges, natural nut things that are in the ground. And turkeys love to dig in that fresh disced up stuff anyway. I mean, you watch a farm field that just get turned over or something. Man, turkeys just flock to it. Well, why is that? Well, there's bugs in there. Yeah. So you can do that on your property on a much smaller scale. I've hooked the bush hog up and kind of went in through some thicker areas that I normally like to keep thick during deer season, but I'll bush hog some lanes or bush hog some areas to put some other corridors together, but also that leaves openings for turkeys, and turkeys like openings. So the more openings you can create, the better. And then also, again, on the flip side of that, you're allowing that fresh, brush. Now you've cut it again, and anything that you get coming up is going to be better for the deer to eat and stuff like that also. Yeah. So those are just a few little things that really don't cost a lot of money and are very, very useful in getting turkey
liming your property. I mean,
absolutely. Yeah,
I guess it's good to do that anytime you can get it done.
Anytime, but now it's the most important.
Would help this fall.
Yep, absolutely.
It takes that lime a while.
Yes, sir. As you know, with farming, now's the time. This is a big time for limer for your lime guys. They're dumping lime left and right. I think, where they can, because it's been so wet. Like Ken said, it rained half of or over half of January, but where you can get the lime in, absolutely. Lime's one of my favorite things in the world. So, any of that stuff.
I hadn't really
thought about the turn over the ground, hitting it with a disc, but that is that's the kind of thing we all can do.
Acre,
can do
absolutely.
I think it's about an acre and a half chufa field to have not messed with.
Sure.
And I dug one up probably a month ago, and it's just full of nuts
Sure.
up under us. And what do I need to do? Of course, the head is dead, but it's full of groceries up under the ground. Do I need to lightly? When do I need to lightly disc that?
Now, as soon as it gets dry enough, it's probably too wet.
It's kind of
Is it up on a hill?
It's kind of up on a hill a little bit.
I wouldn't do all of it, but I would take your disc or plow or whatever that you have, and just take a strip and just go take one strip and go right through it, and those turkeys will start eating it, and then you after a couple of weeks move over and do you another strip or two, and then another strip or two. Because if you do it all at one time, I'm gonna tell you they're gonna eat everything. They're gonna eat you out of house and home before turkey season. It's all
That's
gone.
what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's what you have to do with
Yeah.
Chifa. Yeah,
What
I
is
guess,
illegal to do?
can't put any kind of bait whatsoever out of any kind.
It's got to be normal
turkey.
agricultural.
It's all
What do
out
they call
this
that
year.
stuff? Crook.
No,
No, you can't put any
Crush type.
crush.
Nope, can't use anything. Last year, the rule was you could put out milo and wheat as long as you broadcast it out like 50 pounds to the acre or something like
Yeah.
that. It was in the supplemental guidelines. Well, they took that out completely. No feeding. You can't have feeders out. You can't have anything out during this turkey season time. So, yeah, that's the rules for this year.
It's kind of interesting why they, we talked about that the last episode.
Yeah,
Kind of
So-
puzzling a little bit as to why they would, especially in counties, in our northern counties where we're seeing, big numbers.
Sure.
We're seeing a lot of growth. And so, I don't know. It didn't have anything to do with the CWD because they had already
was implemented
announced
before.
that they were doing that before the CWD really was an issue.
Yeah.
But
You know,
I guess we can go ahead. Guys that like to set up a blind.
Right.
It's good to go ahead and be doing that now, so the turkeys are familiar with that. If they're hitting an area pretty hard, and you were to go in there and throw a blind right in the middle of the season, it might, they might get a little disturbed by that. And if you go ahead and get that in place, if you know a good area
Brother
where
Mark's
you
had
want,
his blinds out long
Yeah.
ago.
Are y'all's deer blinds that y'all use in places where you can
Hunt out of? Oh
turkey,
yeah.
turkey hunt too?
Matter of fact, we one particular place
It's got to be on the ground.
we built it.
Yeah.
We built our shooting house up about 8 foot, 7 foot, and so we will hunt under it. We left it to where we will black it in, and I can get wheelchair.
Yeah.
I can pull right up to it, put somebody
Yeah.
like I can take Richard, like what
Yeah.
me and you did the other day, deer hunt.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about that. I think me and you talked about that. But anyway, I kind of did that. That's what I'm gonna try to do, because the way I understand it, if you're hunting in a shooting house, it's got to be ground level.
Yeah.
Turkey,
on the ground.
turkey hunt.
Can't be above ground.
Yeah.
And most of the time when they're
So-
above ground anyway, them boogers can see you during turkey season. It's like during deer season, they don't even care you're there, but during turkey season, they'll spot you up in that stand and be like,
Yeah.
and you'd be like, what in the world? But if you're on ground level and get blacked in, get that thing dark inside, you're fine. They won't.
you guys hunt mostly blinds, little pop up blinds. Just kind of curious how y'all like to hunt.
Find a good tree,
Just get in there on
thicket,
the tree.
blend in,
Well,
get in
taking
there.
kids and stuff.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
to when you take people.
Brother Mark, especially when we started taking kids, he was like, you need to get them in some blinds.
Right.
Yeah.
Because of movement. Kids are just different.
And you're trying to film them too. So you got 3 people, especially early in the season when there's no cover, and you got a kid and somebody sitting there, and you're trying to film, and then you throw another somebody to try to call or whatever. It's just it. Not to say you can't kill them, but it's tough.
It'd be hard, wouldn't it?
It's tough. But when you put them in the blinds, and last year will tell you the kill percentage just went through the roof.
Right.
I mean, we killed a bunch of them out of the blinds.
And y'all may have talked
So-
about this, about this year, we're supposed to call in.
Yep. We talked
Yeah,
about
we
that
talked
last
about
time,
that.
but yes, sir. No, I'm glad you remember that, because we definitely need to mention that again. You have to either use your app,
About the
you
10
call
p.m.,
in.
I think.
It should be
So,
popping up on our app, and I looked the other day, it still wasn't on there.
So no, I hadn't looked.
So surely they have
I
it
believe
on
it's what
there.
said you got to 10 p.m.
Richard always has a question. What about cripple folk? He's always wondered, do they get passes?
No.
Can you pull a cripple card out during turkey season and kill 6?
No. Not with you, anyway. Yeah, that don't count.
We were hunting one particular time, and they were like 8 jakes, and he's giving me the throwing his hand up like, why you not let me shoot? I'm like, well, you're an adult, and they're jakes, and I don't know that there's a law for the guy with the crippled guy that gives him permission to shoot if he gets fined too. But I got a feeling that I'm gonna be in trouble because I'm the one that let you shoot. And so he's like, but I'm crippled. They won't fine me for being crippled. Oh, okay.
Now, forgive my ignorance. A youth can kill a jake, right?
Yes.
That's what I was thinking. A youth can kill a jake, any male bird.
Yes.
A youth. So, keep that in mind.
And a youth is what, 15?
It's
Yes.
well, when he turns 16,
When you
he
turn
can use them.
16.
15
you know,
and under.
15 and under.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, it's the same difference.
if you're a youth out there, you don't have to, if it's a dad,
But
that kid
what
is
about-
not under the same standard.
Yeah.
So
Does
if
a
it's,
kid have a limit?
Yes.
Yeah.
yes,
Same
they have a
limit?
limit.
Still is on the same.
Same limit, but they don't have to call in. But the dad has to report.
Yeah,
Is that
the
what I
caregiver.
understood?
I say caregiver in my business. I'm saying caregiver, but they have to report everything and keep file of it, keep record of it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
I think that's what we read last time.
Sure.
Well, I'm hoping for Bo to get his first one this year.
Yeah, that'd be-
I've got him set up. He's got that little youth model Mossberg 20 gauge, and I got him a turkey choke for it. And I even got him one of those red dots mounted on top of it. So I don't know, that may be, y'all may think that's cheating, but I'm trying to make it easy for him.
No.
I like them, to be honest with you.
Cheating,
Are
When I pulled that
y'all
turkey
straight
breast
open
out of the
sights,
grease
or do
tonight,
y'all
I
have
don't care
the,
if it had a red dot
red
poked
dot
to
or not.
it.
You got that right.
huh?
When we pulled that turkey out of that grease a while ago, I didn't see red dot, green dot. Matter of fact, what's funny is that fallow deer did have a green dot on it when Richard shot it. The guy said, "Now make sure you shoot that one right there that's got the green dot on it," because he had his breeder bucks all around it. He was letting them kill a cull.
I like them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put one on mine this year. I'm thinking you can get them pretty cheap now.
Yeah.
Buy them for $79-$80 and stick one on your.
The only thing
Shotgun.
with any of your red dots, you have to be careful. You turn that thing on, you get excited. Okay, the turkey's here, blah blah blah, and then you forget to turn it off.
Yeah.
And then the next day you go to pick it up. It's before daylight, and you sitting there, and now you ain't got nothing.
Yeah.
Now you finna be trying to rip
Well,
that
you're
thing
in your
off.
stand
So
trying to get
you
it
have
right.
to be careful
Been there,
with those
done that.
things.
Yeah.
So that's the only downfall with the red dot. And as long as you know that, as long as you keep you a couple extra batteries
you a
in your
battery.
turkey vest,
Yep.
whatever you need to do that. If I was going to use optics, I'd use a scope. There's lots of great scopes now that are very inexpensive scopes,
Yeah.
but are good scopes that have long eye relief, and they have the circle in there.
Yeah.
Instead of just a regular crosshair, and
Right.
I would rather use that because
You don't have to worry
there's
about
no
the
battery.
That's right.
There's a battery goes down. Actually, I had to get my dad one last year. He couldn't. His eyes wasn't as good, and he couldn't see. He couldn't see the end of his bead. He could
Yeah.
see it, but it was fuzzy. And you've known my dad. And anyhow, he said, I can't see the end on barrel. What am I going to do? So we fixed him up with one of our Encores. And 20 gauge Encore barrel, put the shotgun on it, and shooting TSS loads now. I don't know if you're familiar with the TSS loads. There's just phenomenal, ridiculous shells. They're very expensive, but they're the grits for sure. And so I got him some of my TSS turkey loads and said, "Here, take these. This will be fine." And he was good with it.
That's funny that you said that, because my next point was going to be, or my next question was going to be, what type of loads do you guys shoot? Because let me
TSS?
tell you, I haven't invested in the high dollar turkey loads. So I've just always bought them by.
Don't go target shooting with them.
Well,
Just
no.
mess around.
Let me tell you what happened to me today. So we get over to Tupelo, and Will, my assistant coach, who's also a big outdoorsman, and Will helps us some over at our place, just help keep the place up and stuff. So I try to take care of him. Well, he was over there. He'd been telling me he'd been wanting to go to Hunter's Haven. So said he needed to get some turkey shells. So we went over there, and I thought, well, I'm just going to buy them for him. He helps me out. Ain't no big deal.
Yo,
Yeah.
So we
Took
go
him to
over
the
there.
state.
and he bought, are they the nitros?
No,
Are they called nitros?
That's another shell.
it's another shell.
Okay.
Nitros is really
It's got-
they're been
4, 5s,
Yeah,
3,
the
4,
nit-
5, 6.
all the nitro is a hopped up loaded shell, and you can get lead or you can get
That's right.
the heavy stuff. But the nitros don't even make the TSS. Nitro is, to me, nitros are done. They're over with. They've kind of reached their top of their game. Forget nitro. It's
Well, they're
anything-
not done because I just bought some. they aren't done.
Well, I'm
In
sorry,
fact,
you're
with-
ignorant.
with
But
what-
anyway,
no.
should have called you, brother Mark.
Well, look, I didn't buy them from me.
It don't matter.
He just
You still
he
paid
goes
for
in there-
them. I'm trying to save you some
He
money.
was looking at the patterns. George and them had to, have those
sure.
sheets up there.
Yeah,
and, the different ones and all the different loads there. So that's what he said he wanted. And I looked up there and I said, "What?" He said, "I need 5." I thought he was going to get 5 boxes. And again, forgive me now. I just hunt straight turkey load, and I may go a little different route this year. And the guy reaches up there, he turns the key on it, reaches up there, and he pulls out 5 shells. Goes in there and pays them, and it was $60 for 5 shells.
12 gauge.
Yeah,
Yo.
they were $12.
Do they come like with a guarantee?
No,
Oh, they don't?
no.
Well, since you done called me ignorant
Yeah.
on the podcast, I mean,
I'm just gonna tell you, man.
golly.
Do not edit that out. That might sell.
But I mean,
You just gained
And here's the
100
thing too. The
you could
TS
be nice about it. I mean, just
telling you like it is.
No, when it comes to turkey hunting, he
No.
don't get nice.
No, it's just it's this.
So
You
let's
go
just,
hunt
tell
with him,
all
you'll
our,
feel
let's
stupid.
just tell all our viewers out there that if you don't know that nitros are done,
Yeah.
you're ignorant.
Don't waste your money on nitro.
You should call Mark Newell because you ignorant. If you shoot nitros, you dumb. You ignorant.
What are the TSS?
TSS is tungsten super shot. It's the heaviest of the heaviest shot that's out there on the market.
How much
So,
are they?
well, there's several, and they've actually are coming down. Browning or make some loads now. I didn't even know that they made them, and you can get a box of 5 on those. I think they're about $40 for 5 for 12 gauge.
You are ignorant. Because, that text message could have saved you $20, man.
That's what I'm getting at.
I paid $12 for something that's done. I'm ignorant.
Yeah.
When I could have bought 5
Yeah.
for
You could
40.
have saved a little bit.
You'd be
of money.
broke.
Come on.
All right,
So,
okay.
I'm just saying. That's just all I'm saying. But that's the hottest loads. The turkey, any turkey hunters who are turkey hunters, that's the edge of the game now is the TSS. You look up turkey loads and TSS. Is
Well,
what
I'm
you're
glad
gonna
I
read
hadn't
about.
bought mine yet because I'm
So,
going to go buy me some
and-
TSS. Baby.
And
You
I
just
shoot.
wised
What
up,
size
man.
load do
You
you
get your
get?
man.
I shoot
Ignorant, no
Is it
nines.
mixed or you
No, I
just
shoot
buy
nines.
nines?
We load our own. We load our
Oh,
own.
shoot, I film.
We load our own. So it's 8.5s or 9s is what we shoot.
I shoot a
and it's just out
64
of
gig
20
card
gauge.
with the
It's
10
all we
circle.
shoot is 20
If you
gauge.
get 12, what would you get? 12
Hey,
gauge?
speaking of that, you need to get the
Single.
camera.
Wouldn't buy 12.
What does Eli shoot? He's a shooter.
Oh, he shoots
Nothing.
$5 stuff.
Same thing. 8.5s. 8.5, 9, something like that. And then you have a lot of the blends, and there's a lot of different manufacturers that are out there now that are making them. As of right now, as far as the major Apex was the first one to actually manufacture them, and then Federal, and then now Browning, which is a Winchester shell. I think they're probably even made in Oxford there. If I had, it
Where
would
do you
surprise
get
me.
yours?
We load our own.
Oh,
We
you
load
do?
our own. But Chris, a good friend of ours, Chris Roberts. And we make our own calls, and well, he does all of it. I just kind of tell him we've
And they're good,
played
by the
around.
way, because
We've played around with them, and
Mark-
Chris is good.
Mark gave
Make 'em.
birth to Eli Nelson's turkey pursuit, and he's just like Mark. He's picky about stuff,
Well,
and he got crooked letter
crooked letter
mouth
calls,
calls, son,
crooked letter
and
calls.
he's like,
Yeah.
we need to get some more of these. So
What's the farthest shot you would take at a deer?
On
I mean, at
on
a
a turkey,
At a turkey.
with that 20, 65 yards all day long with a 20 gauge. Yeah, easy. That's
12 gauge. I don't have a 20.
long way, further than you can shoot one. I mean, further than you. I mean, I know plenty of buddies of mine that shot them in the 80s.
Wow.
So
Glad Richard didn't have them years ago at my place. Back
Guarantee he wouldn't even have to trespass.
No.
He could have shot from his daddy's cabin and then come over here and got him. But that
Drain me dry
trespass,
over there.
that's another. That's
Across the
another.
lake.
Yeah, Ken calls me one day. You do know Richard Stafford and them, don't you? I said, yeah, I know. He said, well, you better tell him if I catch him back on my property. So I did. I called him. I said, look, Ken ain't playing.
Anytime we didn't see turkeys, I blamed it on Richard.
Tab Gummy done killed all my turkeys.
Killed another one over there.
But no, all serious, they're definitely worth, the hype, and they are expensive. But you getting enough people to make.
Would they
them,
kill a
they'll
turkey
run
a
it out.
body shot?
Oh sure. It's
My turkey, one of my turkey stories, I got excited. It's been 3 years ago, but I got excited, and I called him up. But I'm not good at all that. But I was doing good that day, man. That rascal, and he's coming up, man. So I'm ready, buddy. I'm ready, and he comes out, and I see like they do on TV. I had my decoy out there, and he come up there, man, big old long man, and kicked that decoy. Just like on TV, man. I've seen them do that, and I'm like, man, I'd love to see that happen. And he did. He kicked that decoy, and he spins around there, and I mean, maybe 25 yards. And I'm so excited. Okay, buddy. And I don't know if but I shot, knocked him down. I jumped up. I thought, man, and that rascal, when I get up, he gets up and takes off running. I boom, boom, and shooting behind him and everything else. And then, I don't know, I may have called you. I called 2 or 3. I know I called Steve Parrish. I said, what do I do now? Well, what happened? I told him. He said, man, that turkey's gone. I said, well, would he hide up in a tree or on the ground?
You get the dogs in.
Somebody call him. Somebody call him.
Called the dog.
Anyway.
Called the dog lady or cut out walking after him one.
But I had feathers out there, man. I know that's what I done. I hit him in the body instead of just taking my time and getting on him. But anyway.
You know what the problem was? You were shooting nitros.
I'm not ignorant. No, I didn't have that. I just had a.
He had
Ready to
number
shoot.
You done had them
9
TSSs, baby. You done had a dead turkey.
Good night. Okay.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Well, you need to get me some of them for.
Oh, I'm going to get me
Father's Day.
some.
No, that's too late.
Too late.
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's. Yeah.
Would you
You
be
know.
mine?
Something other. But anyway.
That's
That's good.
pretty exciting.
That's
right
good.
around the corner.
You know what's amazing at our property? We see some turkeys here and there, but when
Hey, Daddy, you can't eat candy on the podcast. It makes too much noise. Kerry's going in another room.
Go on, get your stuff.
Open up the candy bars.
I'm
I'm sorry, Ken.
That's all
We
right.
couldn't hear anything you were saying from all
but
the
at
scratching
our
of
place,
opening
at our
up the candy bar.
place during deer season, we don't see a lot of turkeys. But
Right.
soon as the season is over, they just.
It happens.
I hear a lot of people say that, and
Same.
we're seeing more the last couple of years. And used to, we never saw a turkey all deer season.
We've had it happen
Never
both
seen it.
ways. I've had where
Yeah.
we'd see them during deer season and then disappear, not see them in turkey season.
We'd sure rather see them during turkey season, but
Yeah, and then vice versa. I don't know.
I saw them this year on our place at the very beginning, which had I known, it was during that early season that we had this year. During that, was it October 4th or September 4th? Was it? I don't know. October 4th, maybe to November 4th, where we had that 1 month fall season. And I could have killed one. But I saw them that one time.
Possibly not, because
And
they
then
all kind
Ken, I
of
didn't-
restrictions.
Ken, I didn't see them anymore. And so I don't know. And our property's so small, we can't hold them. So I think they move around on us. But I don't know. Why is it?
I mean,
Okay, nobody else talk. They got baby room.
I started something.
I took care of all the noise. I went to the other room, opened it up, put them on a platter.
Yeah.
I feel like Donald Trump.
Oh, he's probably talking right now.
Well, I served y'all baby Ruths on the fine china of
There
the
you
Nelson
go.
House, like
All
he
right.
did
There
Clemson
you go.
with the Big Macs.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
But
talking.
I don't know, why is that, you think?
I think that's just the way of life of the turkey. You know, you can't.
Turkeys travel a lot, and they're like two different species of animals during the springtime or during the wintertime than they are during the spring, especially a gobbler. Gobbler's very nomadic. They're going to get together, usually, in bigger groups, maybe 2 or 3, and I've seen dozens of longbeards together, and we think, oh man, we got all of them. Well, they all ain't going to be together during that time.
Yeah.
Then they'll split up and go to all different places, but they'll get together and come from who knows how far to get together, and then they're very nomadic. There is no rhyme or reason where they're going, and so wherever they go, all right, we'll just get up and just keep on going. They're just looking for something to eat. Very, very nomadic. That's just the nature of them during the wintertime. During the springtime, they're locked into a very small area. Wherever the hens are, that's where they're going to be.
Yeah.
So and then like I said, and you see the hens the same way. They're not quite as nomadic because they have some young ones that it's coming on along this year. But they still travel, man, and they'll travel a long way.
Yeah.
Not quite as far as the gobblers do. And every now and then you'll see them come together, where you'll see hens and gobblers or whatever. But for the most part, they're very nomadic. They're just there. There's no rhyme or reason what they're doing. So that's their nature during that time of the year. So like Ken's place, those gobblers, or a percentage of those gobblers know, hey, there's going to be hens here during the spring. That's where we're going. So there's going to be a percentage that's going to be there.
What kind of area would a turkey range, you think, in a period of time over a year? I mean,
3-4 miles.
okay.
I know they're going to be close to water because I can't tell you how many times. I know Mark can vouch for this. Fly off the roost. Most of the time, they're going to water. Get them a sip of water real quick and go. We see that so much at our place. It could be a creek. It could be edge of the lake. But more times than not, they're going to be roosting above water at our place somewhere.
Well, they love the roost when they can. They
Yes.
love because they actually feel safer roosting over that water than they do any other.
Yeah.
There's kind of hard for anything to crawl up on them, or at least they
right.
feel very safe. And he mentioned the water as well. Water is very important. A lot of time it's not that big of an issue when there's water everywhere. Like now, there's water everywhere. So I mean, there's plenty of puddles and things. So it's not a factor to them right now.
Yeah.
But hey, there's been some springs where it gets really, really dry, and a turkey's a they're a bird, so they're very, very warm blooded. So and they need water. You go to Texas, that's how you dictate where you're going to have turkeys.
This is where you got
If
water.
you got water, if there's no water, there's no turkeys. I mean, none.
Right.
So
Have you killed, Mark, have you killed the Grand Slam?
yes, sir.
You have.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So
All the way down to Florida.
yes, sir. Yeah, Osceolas. Yeah.
Wow. What's the prettiest turkey?
I like the Merriams, the ones with the white. That's probably my favorite. But they're all very uniquely have their own thing going for them. So
Hardest to kill is the what?
it's the Eastern without a doubt.
No
Yeah.
question.
And the Eastern in Mississippi and Alabama, they don't get any harder to hunt.
Wow.
You move outside, and maybe some pockets of Georgia, but still Mississippi and Alabama, they're the hardest. And once you move out of that, it gets tremendously easier.
Wow.
Tremendously easier.
Yeah.
So Osceolas, everybody talks about how hard they are to hunt. They're not hard to hunt. There's only a small section of ground in South Florida that the Osceola lives. But they're very, very, you're talking about people fanning and stuff like that. Man, just throw a fan up in Osceola. I mean, he's dead. They're very aggressive. They're the most aggressive turkey by far of any of them. And then your Easterns will be the next aggressive, and then go from there. The Merriams can be very hard to kill because of terrain. Because sometimes if you're hunting and it's just so wide open, I mean, it's hard to find a place to hide where you can sit down and call. I mean, I remember the last time I've hunted out there, hunted out west, and I mean, you could see the turkeys with the binoculars, and you would call. You couldn't even hear them gobble, but you'd see them gobble through the binoculars. And I mean, there's nothing in between you and them. I mean, all you do is just hope that they come at some point in time. And 4 hours later, they came.
Yeah.
You know, so but that's so terrain can make them very, very difficult. But you know, you give a turkey on any good odds on any turkey you get on. You know, the Rios and the Osceolas, or the Rios and the Merriams, are probably some of the easiest to kill.
Rios.
And it's the same thing with even with the Rios, depending on how you're hunting them, the terrain and stuff like that. But most of the time, they're pretty easy to keep. Pretty easy to kill. Yeah. I've shot Rios both in western Kansas as well as in Texas. So
Oklahoma was, I mean, that's the easiest thing I've ever done.
yeah.
We've gone 7 years straight, and we were through early.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got some friends that go out there. You see them on Facebook. I mean, like, man, first day they're there, they've got them.
They'll be so far away, like you're saying, you'd see them gobble, can't hear it. Within 5 minutes, they'll be on you.
Huh.
And you know, we cherish the turkeys here. We're,
Yeah.
you know, where do you turkey hunt? Well, somewhere over there on
Yeah,
the other side of the hill. You know,
You got any turkeys? I win one or two.
they don't care about them. They just treat them like blackbirds. They want them gone. Some people try to make money off of them.
Yeah, around here it's like that little kid on Facebook. Yeah, you take a left, then you take another left, and you go down there and you take a left. When you take that left, you're going to go over a creek, then you're going to take another left. You seen that? And he said, where you hunt at? That little kid said, well, you go down there and take a left. He just kept taking left.
Never took a ride.
He never took a ride, man.
What I miss and what we have now that we didn't have then is turkey, but what we had then we don't have now is quail. And I used to love quail hunting.
Yeah.
In the 80s, late 70s, I really started getting serious about it. As I got older, and in the 80s and around here and even up there. When I first went to Unity in 1978, for about the next 6-7 years through mid 80s to late 80s, I could go out the front door and walk out, go up, have an afternoon hunt, find 3 or 4 coveys, or I could go behind my house down in the bottom, down along that creek, and some fence rows, 3 or 4 coveys, and I mean, they disappeared.
Massive habitat shift. Basically, pine plantations killed your quail.
Yeah.
When you're describing the landscape here in Pontotoc County, the same way was a lot of the world, or a lot of the nation was the same way. Everybody had a farm of some kind.
Yeah.
I remember my daddy growing up. He's like, everybody had a farm. You know, it may not have been a big farm. It may have been 40 acres, but everybody had a farm. So when you got a patchwork of a farm here, a farm here, a farm here, a farm here, you had those fence rows.
Yeah.
You had
If a guy had 100 acres, he might have 8 or 10 fields.
Right. Yeah.
Them little old fence rows and
Yep.
hedge rows, and there wasn't no fence in there. If it was, it's 100 years old.
Yep.
But that hedge
That
was there.
big hedgerow. Yep. So.
And
Yep.
but there was quail, and But you know something else? About the time, seemed like fire ants started getting real bad
Well,
in our area, and
here's
quail
what-
disappeared. And
here's what happens, and everybody wants to blame it on the fire ants, or let's blame it on the coyotes, and let's blame it on the bobcats. And all of those had a part in it. But the biggest thing was the habitat. And once you had such a huge paradigm shift in habitat, you went from the patchwork of small farms to everybody planting pine trees to all of this. What quail you had left then, that's when they started getting sniped by your predators. That's when the fire ants started getting, and it was hurting their nesting habitat. So that's when it started pinching them. what quail that you did have, there's still quail out there, not huntable nowhere near the populations like you're talking about growing up.
No.
But, and there never will be those populations again. They're not coming back. As a biologist, people pay me to come to their properties and set it up all over the southeastern United States. And some of the first things people want to come up right out of the gate and say, hey man, we want quail management. I said, no, you ain't going to do it. You can dump thousands or millions of dollars in it. Unless you're in Georgia, unless you're in, the further western United States, you can forget it. You're not growing quail here any longer. Well, can you have a covey or two here or there? Absolutely, but you're not going to have a huntable population. And that's just the way it is. The plantation country in South Georgia is the only area outside the western United States that have it. But you're talking a plantation that's 5,000 acres. It's right next to a plantation that's 10,000 acres. It's right next to a plantation that's 4,000 acres. And it's a continuous thing that's really neat. It's like going in time, going to the plantation country. You would love it, Brother Ronnie.
Yeah.
And but it's a lot of big pine. They use a lot of fire and they keep everything burning. But it's management zone after management zone. I mean, so you're talking hundreds of thousand acres now where you have quail habitat, and they manage for them hard, and they spend a lot of money, each and every one of them, in order to keep what they've got. But that's the only landscape in the southeast that can grow it. It won't happen anywhere else.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun, man.
Yep.
Bird hunting.
Yep.
Training. Well, I never did train a lot of dogs. I did by default,
Yeah.
You better.
Yeah.
You better,
Right.
But that was a lot of fun, and watching those dogs work, and man, it really was. I did a lot of that with my daddy-in-law in the late 70s and all through the decade of the 80s, and we had a lot of fun. And I always said, my daddy-in-law was Charlie Hale, his brother-in-law, Mr. Buddy McGee, and I go with those two guys, and I've often said I didn't even need a dog. They'd hit a thicket, where the dog ought to be going through this thicket or whatever. And no, just watch. Charlie and Buddy will be over there going through the thicket. And,
I think y'all forget, but that's what y'all brought me for.
well, yeah, but it didn't work out too good.
Cut out through there.
Generally, they sent me in the thicket. Crawl in there and get that bird.
But that was a lot of fun. I have a lot of good memories of that. But yeah, it's gone.
Yep.
Well, speaking of dogs, we took had a young man in a wheelchair and a young man with a sheer brain injury, like Richards, but yet he can walk some. We took them squirrel hunting Saturday.
Oh man,
with two really good dogs.
bet that was
And
fun.
the guy in the wheelchair, Eric Knox, brought the guy with the brain injury hunting, and Eric brought his dog.
Yeah.
Eric hunts off 4-wheeler, and if you can walk it, he can get a 4-wheeler free. That's the way he believes. And
Wow.
So, it's one of them 4-wheelers. When he gets ready to sell it, don't buy it. So it's been put through the ringer, but it's his legs, and that gets him through.
Yeah.
And so Johnny Cheney brought his dog, 12-year-old Kerry dog, and Eric's got a 4-year-old Feist, kind of a medium-sized jet black, and they were good. They were really, really good. We killed 5 squirrels. We actually shot 4, and Frankie caught 1.
Man.
And but the young man with the brain injury, we were able to. Eli brought him on a 4-wheeler.
Yeah.
Through, and when they'd tree one, you'd find it. We got in a big scope of hardwoods. They were a lot easier to see, of course, and so we'd get him off the 4-wheeler, and he had a double barrel twenty gauge, and he did hold up. He killed 2.
Wow.
And so one out of the nest.
Are y'all doing that? Doing more of those squirrel hunts?
We're gonna do 2 more.
Well,
Going
I'm
towards the
gonna
end
tell
of the
you,
month.
we got a place, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah.
We need to take some over to Panola County because we got more squirrels over there
Yeah.
They'd love
than
it.
you can shake a stick
They-
at. I'm telling you, we are loaded. Hardwoods.
Yeah.
And
Well, I
so-
run my camera. I filmed it. I'd love to do about 3 hunts, be able to compile something, and So
Well,
they're going this weekend. I've just got so many people coming in. I can't go.
Yeah.
But
We need to set that up.
but yeah, it was pretty. Been a long
That's
time since
awesome.
I've been squirrel hunting with a dog.
Yeah, I
and
hadn't
our
been.
friend Jeff Linigan.
yeah.
Well, Jeff, he's raised them for years,
Uh-huh.
and cur dogs and feist dogs. But to watch, I grew up quail hunting. That's all. That's all we did. We didn't have no deer.
Right.
Turkey.
Oh, yeah, no.
We just quail hunting. But I'm telling you, to watch a good dog in any arena,
Oh, yeah.
whatever he is,
Yeah.
work. But man, I found myself not filming for watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And both of them just one no cold trade. I mean, it was, and the owner. You usually watch an owner too, and watch the guy that owns a dog and see what he's doing. And every now and then, Eric, who's in a wheelchair, he'd be on his four-wheeler and he'd say, "Hey guys, hang on, he's got the track. You got tracking systems now, He's like, he's just circling. Just give him a second." And just like with rabbit hunting, that certain bark, and so when that dog would bark a certain way, four-wheeler crank, it wasn't like, "Hey, y'all come on." When he heard that bark, he was gone. So you knew it was time to follow him. And you get down there and they squirrel.
I think that sport's coming back. I saw a lot of squirrel hunters last weekend, and you just hear more guys talking about it now. And a lot of guys are getting into it. I noticed just on Facebook, a lot of guys out there on horseback.
Yeah.
Doing a lot of
Brother Steve,
Yeah,
they
so
have
like
a
to
squirrel hunt.
fool
every-
around with horses,
Yeah.
like to go
What,
squirrel hunting.
October?
It's right there in the middle of deer season.
On
November.
Is it November? Okay. On
October,
Saturday.
yeah.
And then they have a supper that night or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Mark, we're gonna let them eat that squirrel and dumplings. We'll go with turkey. What you think?
Oh, yeah.
I did a wild game supper the other night, and they had fried squirrel just like you would.
I bet it was good too.
They fried the hindquarters whole.
Was it good?
It was.
Wow.
There's not a lot of meat,
Yeah.
but hey, they deep fried them hindquarters and them squirrel, and had them laid in, lined up in the plate.
Oh, man.
It's pretty good. That's where I ate my deer heart.
Oh, you did eat some of deer?
Yes,
heart?
sir.
He sure
And
did.
I tell you what I think. Ms. Esther Williams was sitting across the table from me, and all the women's like, "Oh no." Brother Dana was a judge at this thing. They got him to be a judge. He wouldn't even eat the deer heart to judge it. I ain't eating no deer heart. And so I got it. When I saw it, that's when I sent that picture.
Yeah.
I saw
I
it,
got
and
it.
I was like, "Oh, I'm eating that. I don't care what it tastes like. I'm eating it."
It looked like prime.
Got over there, ate it, and I was like, "You gotta be kidding me." So I said, "Who made this?" And they pointed the guy out. I called him over. And I said, "This ain't tenderloin, is it?" I mean, it chewed just like tenderloin. It was, didn't it?
Oh, yeah.
And so Ms. Esther said, "Is it really that good?" I said, "Ms. Esther, it's fine." He cooked it about medium.
Oh, yeah.
So she said, "Okay, y'all bring me some." Brought her some. She ate it. Looked over. Oh man, I'm trying to think. Brother Larry, up at right out of Knoxville, Tennessee. I just met him. He'd come to your conference. Brother Larry. Anyway, his wife was sitting there too, and she was really. She didn't know if she wanted it or not. Tuberville, Brother Larry Tuberville.
Yeah.
And so Mr. Esther started eating it. So Miss Tuberville, she started eating it, and they both was like, "If you hadn't told me it's deer heart, I'd think it's a piece of ribeye, a piece of steak." I tried to tell you.
Good grief.
No.
No, I'm talking about them. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Trying to tell Brother Dana. When I said that to him, he said, "You just saying that because I wouldn't eat it." I said, "No, if it wasn't no good, I'd tell the man it wasn't no good." It was fine.
Wow.
So we got 2 deer hearts in the freezer. But it's in Josh Adams. This sounds like something off some kind of made up story. Josh Adams got us 2 deer hearts, but they're in his camper in the freezer, locked up, and he's in Louisiana, headed to Alabama.
How were these 2 deer hearts harvested? Were they fresh, killed?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They quit beating right after you cut them. Cut them out there,
Well, we did need to cover a follow up on that because from our last episode we talked about we would be having we will follow up
And we will. We're gonna eat it.
So we already have some follow up. You have eaten some.
So you
since
gonna
the-
cook it like that guy did? Or you gonna
He
fry
give-
it? Or
listen, I gave a hunt away for them, and the guy that made the deer heart got the hunt. So
Make
I
him
mean,
cook it for you.
I've got his number now because he's coming to
Well,
hunt.
hey, he can
So
come
he
here
can tell
too
me-
and cook for us next year.
Well, when he's here, we'll make sure he cooks us some deer heart. But
Yeah.
I can get his recipe. I'll tell him he can't hunt.
That's what you got to do.
Say, I need that recipe. Or
Amen.
there ain't no hunting.
You think your brother Mark's over here? He's in deep thought about this. He's just shaking his head.
I got plenty of tenderloin in my refrigerator.
Plenty, man.
Plenty tenderloin.
Hey, I made my first deer burger.
He'd eat a turkey heart though.
Yeah.
Made your first deer.
I made my first.
Put on the hook.
Oh,
deer
you
burger.
made it. Yeah,
My
'cause you
kids
got
gave me a
your,
grinder and
got your grinder
tenderized
out
for
there.
Christmas.
Yeah, you were.
So the other night, Ray Cobb brought me a big old platter thing of trimmings from a ribeye loin for my fat.
Oh man.
And let me tell you what I did. I had a cooler full of deer meat. So I made my first deer burger out of hindquarter with a tenderloin. I mixed some tenderloin with it. But Chad Clanton told me that was the way to go, so I did it.
Yeah.
And just to see what it tastes like. I put chipotle burger mix in it with that Bill seasoning that y'all like on stuff I cook, and mixed that in there, and it was fine. We had burgers one night, and then we had a big old pot of meatballs and gravy over rice the next day. So
wow.
I've got the recipe.
Awesome.
So, and I have Boston butt. I'm gonna take a fallow deer hindquarter. I've got a Boston butt and some pork fat. And before Saturday morning, I'm gonna make my first sausage. I've got the recipe, got everything here. So I'll let you know how that day. We put 54 1-pound bags of deer burger up last night, and about 14 bags of tenderized tenderloin up off 3 deer.
Awesome.
So
That's
no,
some
I'm
more
not.
we get to
I'm
eat
not
when we come
in,
on.
in it for the public, but
He's
hey, 40, 50 bucks. We did 3 deer in 2 hours. There was 3 of us basically working, and we did 3 deer in 2 hours, and that was starting and cleaning all my stuff up.
look. You know, the best recipe has yet to be discovered. It'll come from here.
Yeah,
We'll find it.
and
I
we
mean,
just
you the connoisseur.
keep on tweaking it till somebody says bing. That's it.
That's it.
Do you some turkey burger too? Take obviously the breast, but what I've done is taken the thigh, not the legs. Take the thigh, bone them completely out, mix that in there with the breast, with your fat, whatever fat you want to use. Makes a great burger.
Well, then we own.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, there's a lot you can do with that. I mean,
Yeah.
I use it for all kinds of different ways. So yeah.
And this machine is not the high end commercial, of course, but it's more of a commercial machine, and it comes with the attachments. I can actually do the link sausages
Yeah.
and all
What
that
kind is
stuff. It's a Warner.
I guess I know that one.
It's like the main one when you Google them, and Moore sells them.
Yeah.
But hey, let me tell you this. Talking about that,
Warner or Wesson?
Wesson. I'm saying Warner. I just left
Say, Warner.
I just left the Warner. No, I just hunted
got
with the
a
Warners.
Wesson.
My bad, Wesson.
Yeah,
That's it. Yeah,
that's a good
yeah,
one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
a
it. That's a good
I
one.
just hunted with the Warners. My bad. We just sat all day on the Warners problem. What I was going to say is my question to you about cleaning a turkey is: can you clean down a wild turkey like? I just wonder about my air fryer. How I do whole turkeys. You know, I may do that. Try one this year.
Yeah.
And then.
So what are you asking? So
He wants to fry a complete turkey.
Yeah,
just
because what I'm thinking I could do with that is putting that whole turkey in that air fryer. It might be more eatable, not wasting. You know, because we don't take the bulk of the turkey. We just take the breast mainly. And I've been thinking about ways of doing that to put it in there to eat it. That's what my
Get
whole
more out
goal.
of it.
But
It'll
the
work.
burger
It's
thing
just-
is perfect.
It just won't be quite as juicy because there's just not as much fat on. But those air fryers, they make them pretty darn
Well,
juicy.
it does my regular turkeys.
On the thing
y'all
about
have had the
yeah,
regular
I've
turkeys.
done it before, and we used to take the legs off, but you got to categorize it like this: the turkeys we hunting is a more athletic bird than what you getting from the store and you eat at Disney World. A big turkey leg. The ligaments.
Oh god.
There's gristle. There's ligaments are so much thicker. They're stronger. There's just I can't explain. He can probably tell you more than I. There's so many more ligaments in the legs that you think
But the
would
thighs,
be
you
good.
think
But
would
the
be
thighs
good?
will
Thighs
work.
are good.
Yeah.
Thighs are
Those
going to
will be
be
better.
a good piece.
Yeah.
It'll be better
With the breast, but
That's why I'm
Right.
saying I'll cut the thigh. That's what I use to grind. But yeah.
I mean, I'll never forget. I did those. Me and Mitch did the legs. We fried and we thought we was doing good. And go to eat, man. It's just
Like jerky,
yeah.
man.
I mean, you
really.
can't deal with it.
Yeah.
It's just it's different. But
Well, guys, it's been a good night. Appreciate y'all coming over, and Kerry, thank you for the
Always.
dinner.
Yeah.
Daddy, thank you for joining us tonight.
It's good to be here. I've enjoyed it.
yeah,
It's been a lot of fun. Just want to say I appreciate you guys. We have completed our first season. I guess from a standpoint of wildlife hunting season, this will be our 21st episode. So we've completed 20 episodes and just finished our first hunting season. And so looking forward, our listener base has grown. I keep seeing it grow every week. I get more comments and I get more likes and seeing people.
I'm getting more people too,
commenting on it.
reaching
And
out to me.
if we get a little slack, I start
That's what
catching
happened to me.
heat.
I got Jordan Lawler from Alabama called me. He's like,
Yeah.
"Hey, y'all quit doing the podcasting? I done listened to
I know.
everything." I'm like,
Well, I
"You
dealt
ought
with
to
it.
pay if you're gonna gripe."
I dealt with it from the pulpit. You remember?
You did deal with it, but he ripped my eye out.
No, I didn't read
I mean, he embarrassed me. Called me something. He did
But,
call me out though.
I do believe in what we're doing here. I know y'all do too. That
We do.
that we're trying to help again raise a generation that sees the importance in conservation and spending time in the outdoors. Get out in front of the TV and get out, do something. And so that's what we're about here. So guys, appreciate it. Thank y'all for your consistency and participation. There's not a person sitting here at this table, I promise you, that doesn't have a lot of other things on their plate that they need to be doing right now. So I know that it does take time and a sacrifice, but I have enjoyed this year. I can say for one, the fellowship and the bond that we've created and the time that we get to spend together. So guys, I just want to say I thank you.
It's a resting point for me. I mean,
Yeah.
even doing all the cook, that's what I like to do.
Yeah.
If I didn't like to do it, we'd call pizza. I mean, I love it.
Yeah.
You know? So I mean, I enjoy this.
Yeah.
So we just
keep it going.
keep it
Yeah,
going.
all right.
Good
You know,
deal.
it's gonna be it's gonna be interesting. Be turkey season, and Brother Mark will be, of course, in his zone, going here and there, and
I
all
don't
that.
see him dive at another. You better get it on film if he has to go
Yeah.
diving and jumping.
Oh, he's not letting them get away, buddy. If he calls them up, they shall go to the house. Even if the kid misses, you still harvested that bird for him.
I'll never forget. I was at Mowers with Brother Marty Brown. And you see Brother Mark jump on that turkey? No, what are you talking? I hadn't seen it.
Yeah.
He said, "Man, you got to see it. You got to see it." Kerry's got it on his phone. Kerry's got it on his phone. I
I
don't even
guess
think.
that, and I was talking about a while ago, that body shot, if you'd have been there,
We got it.
there you go.
He's got it.
It's like a cat.
There you go.
So, I will say this, Brandon Vaughn. After watching the video, Brother Mark wanted some of the turkey. I don't know if you did. Alabama fan. Anyway, all right.
All right, guys.
Enjoy it.
Enjoy it.
get remembered, but legends never die. It's your time now. Be a legend.